Hi friends, Renee Keese here with Carolina Creative. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm here with more card making ideas for you again today. Today I am back to working with this Winterly Treetops stamp and die set and also the nest, it's the full suite, the Nests of Winter. I have pulled out some paper from that suite. The one side is really pretty birds and berries and things, and I wanted to use this green striped side because today I'm actually going to switch this up and do a holiday card, a Christmas card. So I've pulled out garden green for my cardstock. And you could see I could put that paper directly on there, but what I'm going to do is mat it onto the shaded spruce to make it two-toned, and then do some coloring. I really want to use the two birds today. Some of you may remember, if you've watched a few of the recent videos, I was die cutting straight off of the designer paper and getting all these pretty images. And there's a lot you can do with these, but I have something very different in mind today to make this look like a holiday card. So let me flip the camera down and I'll start with some stamping and coloring. I'm using my basic gray. Black would work too. Black makes it really pop, and I decided this is just a hint lighter than the black, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to start with this, and I've already pulled out a whole collection of blender pens here. So I've got, this should be the light cherry cobbler, and I've got the dark real red, and I've got one of these skin tone markers. This is the SU 800. I use this for a lot because it's very neutral. I've got dark daffodil, I've got copper clay, and I've got my color lifter. And this should be everything that I need to use to do this card that I have in mind. So I'm going to start with the pen tip, and first I'm just going to color in these branches. And I'm going to make sure I've got this well within line of the camera. So here we go. Here's the thicker part of the branch, and I'm just barely going to touch it to these ends where it gets very fine. Same thing up here, just a little hint of color up there. And next, because it's the other kind of odd color, you could make their beaks, I think orange would work too, but I'm just going to use yellow and hope that that really makes it pop. Am I thinking, well, I'll get to that in just a minute, how I'm going to color the birds. I'm going to do the berries first. I don't know if these are holly berries or what the red berries are. I've done a couple cards where I did them blue to make them look like juniper berries. But I'm going to make these red. They actually don't look like holly, but holly doesn't come in these big clusters like this. But I think just for the contrast on the green stripe, I really want the red to pop. So red berries it is. And I'll come back and color all these little circles within the berries in a minute. So I'm going to start with my darkest red. And I'm going to make this the male bird. So I'm actually going to make this a pair. And I'm going to outline him and get his breast here. And I'm going to get, actually that could have been a male too. I don't know that it really matters. And do some lines in here. I'm going to make him two-toned here in a minute. But I want to make sure I've got color there. So I've decided this is going to be my female. And I'm going to just follow the artist's guidelines here. And where the artist has put some of this dark lines, I'm going to fill in with red. And I think that's his tail back there. Fill in with the red. So now I'm going to come back in with my lighter shade of red. And yeah, at this point I can use the brush and just fill this in. I'm going to fill him in solid. And I'll give her just a little more color, not too much, because this is where I want to blend in with this, this flesh tone. So I'm going to put that in there. So you can see I've got most of this colored in. And you can see how I'm not being real precise. I'm just dabbing and away we go. Now I do see a little bit more red than I want showing on the tail here. I could have filled that in with the other color. Now comes the fun. The color lifter takes a little bit of time to work its magic. Where there's these little circles on the top of the berries here, I'm going to lighten those So I am just dotting this on the top. I'm going to make these berries look, hopefully, look two-toned. So we've got to give that a minute to let it lighten. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to lighten up some of her feathers and make this kind of blend together and lighten up around her face just a smidge. And I'm going to lighten his breast here, his chest, and just a touch around the eyes and a little shading on the wings there. And I just need to give this another minute or two to see how much it lightens and then go back. Oh yeah, the berries are starting to lighten. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. The berries are starting to lighten. The birds are starting to fade as well. And that's the beauty of the color lifter. You do need to give it that minute or so to let it do its work. And then if you want more, go back in. If you keep doing too much, you're never going to let it see what develops. So you do need to give it a little bit of time. Okay, I think I'm done coloring with that. So with that done, I'm about ready to do some die cutting. I'm going to slide this ink out of the way. I'm going to come back and need that green ink in a minute. So this does have a die that fits right over this whole image. And I'm going to go ahead and in this set, there's also some of these pine boughs. And so I'm going to punch out a few of those at the same time since I'm going to have my die cutter up here on the table. So let's bring this out and I will make my sandwich with my 3 plates. So let me line up my birds first. To me, that's the most important part. And make sure I've got the berries and everything covered here. And then get it ready to run through the machine. And then side by side, both of these little pieces of paper, because they're about 4 by 5.5 each. I'm just going to punch that right out of the middle. Okay, here goes my top plate, and I'm ready to run it through. All right, now I'll get it out of my way and uncover what we've got here. So I should have, yes, a beautifully die cut set of birds and a couple of extra pine boughs. What you're going to see is I've already punched some of these out in garden green as well. I had some from another card. There we go. So I actually have a variety of colors that I'll work with. Okay, let me pull all my parts back now. So this I'm going to layer. I can go ahead and start that process in just a moment. But let me do my stamping first. There's a few more things I want to stamp. I am using sentiments from, I'll pull it out here, this Greetings of the Season. This came out with the Seasons of Green and Gold, and it has just a lot of different holiday messages. I'm really loving this set because it's got a couple nice messages to go inside the card or on the card front if that's what you like. And then you can make it say Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas or Season's Greetings. There's just a lot of ways you can combine these. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, you know, etc. A lot of different things you can do. And there's some fun different shapes that come with that set. So today I'm just using this long skinny band and going to put a sentiment for the front. So I am using the May Your Holiday Season Be Filled with Warmth and Cheerful Celebration on the inside. I'm stamping this in garden green, so it's going to coordinate with this. You could easily do it in spruce as well, and I think it would look just as good. So let me line this up, and that will be the inside of my card. And then across for my sentiment here, I'm going to do this in garden green as well, just because I'm going to be consistent. And I'm making this one say Happy Holidays. It's not going to say Merry Christmas. I typically don't do a lot of season's greetings, but sometimes, you know, you have requests for that type of a sentiment. So I wanted to make sure that I do have some on hand that will say Happy Holidays as well as, you know, Merry Christmas. So I'm ready to start assembling. Let me do the inside of the card first. And I know this is getting low. I've got another one open already, so we'll see how far I can get. I'm going to dot on my glue here. Yep, it may not go far enough. I can usually get a bunch of cards out of it, even when I think it's empty, because it's not. And so I leave it standing with tip down so that it will force all the glue to drain to that bottom edge. Okay, so there's my insert. But while I'm paused, I'm going to reach up and grab my new glue. Okay, so now I'm going to layer up stripes on top of the shaded spruce just to give a little bit of contrast. Now I've got two sets of green colors that I can work with. So here we go. Got a little glue right there. Let's just clean that up while I can. Okay, so I will go ahead and affix this as well. And I think a lot of times I like to use my tape runner for this. As I build layers, I like to yeah, this one's been giving me a little bit of a fit. It doesn't want to feed real well. There we go. I have to work on the other one. There, plenty. So I've got my two shades of green. I've got the green stripes. Now, take a look at this. I've got an extra one that I had colored yesterday. Here's my birds, and I'm going to put them on here. I'm going to take my two different colors now, because I've got both colors in here, and put some greenery in and around the birds, so it looks like, you know, there's branches. I'm going to tuck some of these in there and build my card from there. And what I was thinking was, initially, I wanted this coming out of the birds, and I don't think so. I think I'm going to put this toward the bottom. And I've already tied a bow in shaded spruce. By the way, this is the ribbon that also comes with this suite. It's the shaded spruce. It's gorgeous. I love this type of ribbon where it's got the two-tone and almost a see-through peekaboo. So I'm thinking I'm going to put the ribbon down here with the sentiment and then just have the birds up here. So let me start. How do I want to start? I might go ahead, I wanted to use dimensionals and pop the birds up off of the card base. And that way I'll be able to tuck some of the greenery under it, and I'll just lay the greenery down flat. So let's put, this is going to take a few dimensionals to make sure it has support in all the right places. One down here for the berries. That's a good way to have it sticking to my fingers. Down here on the berries, yep, that'll work. And then I'm going to start cutting some smaller pieces. I've got body here. So make sure I get some of these tail feathers. I use everything on these. You can see I'm already working on the edges. I don't let anything go to waste. If it's sticky and double-sided, I will grab it off of here. No sense letting it go to waste. And put that, I just want to make sure it doesn't peek out anywhere. I'm going to put one more of those small ones down there. And actually I got two, but that's okay. It will support it. I might need a mini. I'm going to pull out one of these little minis and put it down on his tail. And if I sometimes cut these in half too to make them even smaller. If I feel like I need the support, and this might need it. Of course, the tail, you know, it could go limp on the back of the card. It really wouldn't matter. It would be fine. Okay, so that one's sticking to my fingers. I was trying to put it back on my card. There. Now, I'll start popping off all these bases. I didn't grab my Take Your Pick tool. It's sitting over here at the front of my desk, but that's okay. Oh, the old-fashioned way is just use your thumb. Use your thumbnail, put a little dent in it, and pull it right up. And they come off pretty easily. And I think I just need to get this one here. Okay, I'm going to put all that into the trash, and I just lifted that right off. Good thing I have another piece sitting here, right? And pull that off. Okay, so if I've got it on there, I do want that to stick. So I'm just going to put the birds just above the center line of the card. And now I'm going to start putting some glue on these boughs and see where I want to tuck them. Maybe one goes under or over, or I got to think about, yeah, maybe this way. This way. It's kind of perched up on the die cut there, but that's okay. I just want these to look like background and foreground, and I'm going to tuck this back behind. Because it's darker, it'll look like it's in the background. And maybe stick this back in this way. And then put another one of the garden green behind this way, or maybe I want it this way. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just tucking these in every which way. Let's do one more. Let's put a garden green over the spruce one here. Overlapping. Okay. And then I'm going to put a bead of glue right here. Of course, as you know, we could pop this off too with dimensionals, but I'm just going to make sure this says Happy Holidays. The good thing is I can line it up with the stripes. Even though they're a little zigzaggy, they generally run fairly straight, so I can line that up. Here are my glue dots. I'm going to put at least one, obviously. I think I'll put a second one on there. I like to be generous with my glue dots to make sure that this is going to stay. And I'm going to cover part of that little hole. Obviously, that's a tag. You could tie ribbon in there, and I had thought about that. I had found, it was sitting on my desk, the white twine, and I thought, oh, that would have looked cute too with the white background, but I really think I like the green. So there you have it. I have just made a Happy Holidays card. I've taken this winterly treetops, made them look like cardinals. I hope I made them look like cardinals, with red berries so that the red really pops on these two tones of green, and then put a very pretty Christmas sentiment on the inside. So this is ready to go. A fun way to use this, there's just a lot of variability and variations that you can do with this stamp set, this winterly treetops. You've already seen I've used die cut birds, I've colored some birds. I've got some ideas for this as well, and that might be another card making video soon. So thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video. If you like the products and the projects you've seen here, you can find me at Carolina Creative or hashtag Carolina Creative, and I am on the Stampin' Up! Network at ReneeKeysStampinUp.net. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next one.